Welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, where we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's football.
What a goal from Ronaldo! It is absolutely magnificent! It is David Beckham!
With Coach Rudy and friends, this is Global Game Pod.
Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, brought to you by CKB Interiors. As always, if you need a kitchen, bedroom, go visit their website. Today's guest, special guest, I love this kid. He's quality. He's wears his heart on his sleeve. One of the best professionals I think I've met in my coaching career. And he's actually a professional footballer as well. So it's always good for me to bring on pros onto this and hear their stories. So yeah, without further ado, my guest is Harry Hudson, who is currently a first-year pro at Watford, and also is on loan or was on loan at Billericay for the last part of the season. So welcome, Harry.
Cheers, thank you.
The pleasure's mine having you here. But yeah, just a couple of sentences to introduce yourself so we can get this thing started.
Yeah, so my name's Harry, obviously. I play for Watford. I'm a centre-half and I'm on loan at Billericay. Well, I was on loan, depending on what's happening nowadays. You don't know, but yeah, I was on loan from January to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, well, we would like to think it's not the end of the season, but
yeah.
it could well be. But yeah, how's it been going? How you been coping during these times? You know, what you been up to?
During these times, really, I've been getting my programs from Watford and everything like that. So they're keeping you occupied. It's just I'm running every day. Just gets boring, you know. You can do all the stuff. I feel fit. I feel strong, but because I'm sticking to the program. But it's just not the same as as a Saturday 3:00 kickoff. Everyone's raring to go. Everything. You get up for the game. Things like that. You miss the boys as well.
Yeah.
You don't at the minute. I'd say you don't really feel like a footballer. If you know what I mean. You just feel like a bit like a dosser, really. You're doing nothing. An hour, 2 hours a day workout, and that's you done.
So it's hard for pretty much everyone that's involved in the game, but more so for you guys because your daily routine has kind of been scuppered, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm used to when I'm at Watford, definitely have a routine. So I'd get up at like 8:00, then you get to the training ground for 9, have your breakfast, go out, do a bit of pre-ab, train, lunch, gym, then home. So you finish about 3:00, playing for Watford on a normal training day, but on a good day, 12:00. So we're buzzing when it's 12:00. Everyone's finishing early. You want to have a little bit of time off, but when you have this much, it's horrendous. All I'm doing is sitting in front of the TV, nothing to do.
Yeah, no, I hear that, completely hear that. So that's why it's good to have you on here, talking about your journey, talking about what you've been up to, not just during these times, but more thing I'm interested in is the journey leading to the pros, When did football start for you?
So I feel I can remember around 4, my best mate, Louis, I had a best mate called Louis. His dad said, we're going to set up a football team called Kingfisher. So then I said, yeah, lovely. I loved it. I was a young boy. I loved football, loved watching John Terry, Ferdinand, all of them when I was young. So I thought, lovely, joint Kingfisher. And I can never really say, because I can't really remember much, but when you speak to people, they always go, oh, you've always had a little something. You could even tell from a young age, like there was games when I was 5, 6, I know it's only a little tiny 5-a-side pitch, but you're scoring from the halfway line and you're taking players on. You can sort of really tell.
Yeah.
So it started off at Kingfisher. Then after that, he made a new team for VCD. So that was based in Crayford. So we went over there. That's when I started playing my good sort of football when I was about 8, 9-ish. Rob was a very influential manager for me growing up. He helped me out from, like I say, from the age of 4 till the age of 4 till 12, really. My football, he was training me every week. So I went from there. after that, I went from there to Thamesmead.
Okay.
But actually, I tell you, when I was at BCD, I managed to get a trial at Millwall.
Okay.
And that's my boyhood club. And I thought, lovely, like Millwall, I am a player with my heart on my sleeve. I thought, that's it. I thought it's my dream to play for Millwall, as a young kid. So I went to Millwall and I was there for 6 weeks. Everyone thought I was going to sign. I was a Millwall type of player. I'd smash players in tackles.
Yeah.
I was loud. I bossed people about. And it got to it. And they said, listen, you weren't technical enough. So I was like, fair enough. Broke my heart as a kid. I actually gave up football. I gave up football for 6 months. And after that 6 months, my mum and my family sort of knew, I was gutted. So my mum went to me, right, she went, you need to pick yourself up, dust yourself down. And I said, Mum, I can't. Like, Mill's just killed me. So I think it was about 6-7 months after, my mum's gone, I've actually got a voice note for you here. So what my mum and my brother had done was, one of my brother's dads, they got him to leave a voice note saying that they was a Millwall scout and they were still looking at me and they were still very interested in me.
Wow.
So after that, I thought, that's it. Lovely. I'm back in, signed back for VCD, playing week in, week out, done very well. And then till about 12. And then the 12 season, you jumped up to a league called the Kent League.
Okay.
Which was Sunday league, but the best sort of league you could play in as a youngster, like for my age, apart from academy football.
Yeah.
So I jumped into Thamesmead. I said, what you offer? And they said, well, you could be skipper straight away. So I went in there, I was skipper. And my career sort of went on from there then, really. I played number 10. So I wasn't a centre-half, I played number 10.
Wow.
And I think
Harry Hudson as a number 10.
As a number 10, yeah. So you always start up at the top, I think that season I scored 36 goals and something ridiculous, like 48 assists. And there was me and another striker, Harry Carrigan. And then my partner, Billy Mitchell, now plays for Millwall, who's on the bench and in the first team at Millwall. It was us three. It was sort of, like the main dominant ones, which was good because, games were easy. People say the Kent League's very hard. We was winning games 11, 12-0. It was, and then about halfway through the season, that's when it changed for me, really. I went to Gillingham on trial. They said to me, right, where do you want to play? I said, I like the number 10 striker role. So I made my debut for Gillingham as a striker on trial against Leyton Orient, and I scored a perfect hat-trick. So after that game, I got approached by the Leyton Orient manager.
Wow.
And he said to me, we've heard you on trial. Listen, if you don't get nothing here, he said, we'll take you straight away. This is what the Leyton Orient manager said. So I said, all right. After that, I just kept on scoring. After about 7-8 games, I was their highest top scorer as a trialist. So they even had the head office calling us, like calling my mum saying, we want to sign him. Is Harry signing? We want to sign him.
Yeah.
So one morning I got home from school and mum said, Harry, do you want to sign for Gillingham? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but you can do better than this. And I said, you think? She said, yeah. She said, well, I've got to break some news to you. And I said, what? She said, you're not signing for Gillingham. And I've told Gillingham that you don't want to sign there. Okay. So I was like, my first deal I got offered at a pro club. I was like, all right, mum, I was top scorer. I was banging in the goals. I was loving it there. And I thought, all right then. She said, trust me. She said, you deserve better. So I said, all right then. I went back after that. I told my manager, listen, mate, I'm not signing for Gillingham. And he had and he was crying on the phone to me saying, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then we went on and won the league. But during that season, after that period, I can pretty much say I've got all the cards upstairs. I wish I brought them down now. I had Charlton, Fulham, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, Watford, most London clubs, QPR. the funniest one was I was on my way to Tottenham for a game, for a trial game and that. With, my mum's sitting in a car and we go in there, the phone goes off. Hello? Yeah, is that Shelley Hudson? Yeah, who's this? Oh, it's so and so here from QPR. Do you reckon you'd be able to get Harry down for a trial? So yeah, I was pretty privileged. So then I decided to pick West Ham because I thought, all right, I'm a Mill fan, so I thought it did break me out a little bit to sign for West Ham,
Yeah.
But at that time, I thought, you look at the players they've brought through some unbelievable players. Rio Ferdinand, Carrick, Lampard, and when you're at a club, I just felt at home.
Yeah.
So I signed for there. I had 3 unbelievable years there. Probably my biggest highlight of there was scoring against PSG, my first season.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is this by then, had you reverted to a centre-half? Were you still playing
No,
up top?
I was still playing up top for West Ham when
Wow.
I first started, and I'll get to that. So I played in a tournament. I scored against PSG and Everton, and that I was like, fuck. I was like, Jesus Christ, I've gone from playing against, I don't know, Whiteleaf to scoring against PSG. I know it's not the first team, but it's what many kids can say they scored against PSG.
Nah.
So after that, I played centre forward still. I was a bit more like, when you play academy, the players are so much better.
Yeah.
So I was more like the hold-uppy type, ping it in the box. And I was taught at that age, so I just nod it in.
Yeah.
And then we played one game, because you're young, I played against Southampton. And I know Southampton, good academy, very good academy at the time, bring through good players. And Jamie Waller, my manager, who I got on really well with and I still speak to today, like we text each other maybe once or twice a month, said to me, well, H, he said, I'm not going to play you forward today. I'm going to play you centre half with Adji. And ever since that game, me and Adji we were a force together. We was very good. Adji now plays for England. He's on loan at Accrington Stanley. But that partnership, I can honestly say that partnership that me and him had was, I can honestly say it was probably one of the best in the country at the time. And I can hand on my heart say that. I remember we played Chelsea in the Floodlit Cup game. We was winning 1-0. Me and Adji centre half, we was playing against Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah.
And at the time, Callum was, as he is now, he was the kid, everyone was after him. He was offered the pro deal at 13.
Yeah.
He had everything. He had the sponsorships. I was still wearing my Copas. I was still wearing my Copas and my night premiers. That was the sort, or Puma Kings. And we played, and we handled him, and we handled most teams. And in that game, it got to about the 85th minute, and the manager said, right, we're bringing another centre-half and we push you into holding midfield to me. So we done that and we ended up losing the game. So it does sort of show, the standard of how we were and how good we actually was together. So that's it.
That is a journey and a half, I would say.
Yeah, and then after that, I got offered a scholarship at West Ham.
Yeah.
But then I sort of see, at that sort of time, it was Reece Oxford was coming. Reece Oxford was the main boy.
Yeah. Then
you had Deck, who wasn't rated like as much as he is now, or it was always Reece. It was always, Reece is the golden boy. Reece was always £1,000 a week, and Deck just come through, and that's when I thought, you know what? If you've got Deck, Reece Oxford, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get into the 23s.
Yeah.
Because you can just tell a good player when you see one. I get on really well with Deck, and most people will know I probably get him for saying it. He was, when I was in the West Ham, he was like me. I looked to him
Can
You
we,
know, we'd have to
can we just
give Banter
rewind
would
just
look
a
after
little
me.
bit there?
He'd give,
I think we just lost a
yeah,
little bit of what you were saying regarding Declan Rice. So just go back to that bit. Like you and Dec are quite close. You said, yeah.
yeah. So he was, yeah, Deck was like my idol type of thing back then. You know, he would give me free boots if I had a bad game. We'd have a look at the game and things like that together, and even things like that gave me confidence. The banter just flowed with us. You know, I remember when he got his first car, and we used to go out. We used to go out on like little drives. You know, we'd sing songs. You know, everything. It was just a laugh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still keep in contact with him nowadays. And I've met him actually when he was with the England squad. He was with the England squad, and you know, we're talking there, and he said, "Yeah, come over." And I was talking, and I was like, "Mate, you're living the dream, ain't you?" And you know, and then all of a sudden, Jordan Henderson walks past, and you think, Jesus, like, and then Oxlade-Chamberlain walks past, and you think, like, and then you know, and you see that, and it just drives you on to want it even more.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like his sort of journey is very similar to mine. I haven't always been the most favoured one. You know, I've had to work. I'm not the most naturally gifted. You know, I've had to work for everything I've got. So he's a good one to look up to for me as well. And then
That's massive. Like you just a little some name throwing out there, you know, like Declan Rice and the Jordan Hendersons and the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
that's what
And
I'm
you know,
saying.
it's even for someone like you though, but obviously you weren't saying you were on the verge of signing a scholar at this point, I assume.
Yeah.
But knowing that you're about to sign a scholar, but you're still like in awe of these guys because you know that that's where you wanna be in essence, really.
Oh, you know, you see, like I say, you see being at Watford like I was, and then after I signed my new deal at Watford, and so I signed for Watford and got a scholar at Watford, which was a scholar and a deal at Watford, which was perfect. And then you start seeing like the first team, you know, and you see everything they got. You see the Lamborghinis, you see the Ferraris, you see the Bentleys, and you think, do you know what? I'm in the 23s now. All right, it is a long shot to have Lamborghinis, but it helps. It helps drive you on. You know, and you're talking to the first team as you're talking to Will Hughes, and he's just a pucker. He's just like a normal fella. You know what I mean? He's just like a normal geezer you meet down the local pub, you know, and you just have good chats with him. And he tells you about like, you know, how he made it. Obviously, he come on the scene as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And week in, week out for Derby. Not many 16-year-olds can say that. And it's just good for people like to be, because I feel on things like that. You know, I love asking questions.
How is that? So I assume you get to train with the first team every now and again.
Yeah, every now and then you get to train with the first team, and it is just like, wow. Like, you think, how can you be that? How can you be that? Like the intelligence of some of them, like even to fool the players that are on the same ability as them, is just like, Jesus. Like you give players like Decore the ball. He might have 4 or 5 he might have 3-4 players around him, and he makes it look like he's got so much time.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And that's the thing, like, so that's what people don't understand is that there are actually levels to this. There are actually levels to this game. There's levels to being a pro, and just being a pro is actually massive.
Oh, it's the sacrifices you make are unbelievable. Like, I moved out when I was 13. So as soon as I signed for West Ham, I had to move out. I had to move to West Ham Digs, and that's a big thing for me. You know, as a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, so most of my mates at 13, their mum was still packing their school bag. You know, and I had to live away in a house with all the boys. You know, and that was classes. You know, it's like a sleepover every day. You know, and yeah, it's just ever since then, it's just made you think, do you know what? I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to now I'm 19. I'm not sacrificing 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
To just be a non-league player. Like, it's a great achievement being a non-league player, but I don't want to be a non-league player. you know.
No, I mean, and that's it's your dreams and your ambitions at the end of the day, you know. And I don't think
Yeah.
anyone can knock him. I mean, you know the journey you've been on, and we've only heard like a small snippet of it. And
Yeah.
it sounds exciting, and it sounds like you've gone through highs, lows, and the rest
Yeah.
of it. And you know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if your dream is to be at the top, then I don't think anyone can knock you for that, and I don't think
No,
anyone
I
should knock
don't.
you for that.
No, I don't care. Honestly, I'd do anything to have a shirt on. Do you know what I mean? Anything. If I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd do it. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. I don't drink throughout the season, so I don't have a bit of alcohol throughout the season. You know, I might have a little, or I might have like a little one at Christmas. Do you know what I mean? To celebrate with the family. But I can honestly say I'm not really a drinker. You got to eat. I eat right. You know, I train extra. I do extra gym sessions. All things like that. All things because I know physically a year ago I wasn't up to scratch.
Yeah.
This season I've put on 10 kilograms. So it all swings in roundabouts and how much you want it at the end of the day.
Exactly. And I could see that when you first walked in at Billericay. Now, how did that come about? Because obviously you're in the 23s, and then
Yeah.
is this your first loan move?
No, so I was at Cray Wanderers before.
Okay.
So manager Tony Russell there, he's bloody, God, he was very influential. You know, I still speak to him most months now. You know, he texts me, "Hey, you getting on?" We text. You know, it's good, and he's a pucker fella, and he's a very good manager. And I'm not just saying it, but I can see him doing very well in the non-league game. I can see him doing very well. The way he wants to play, everything the players that he gets is ridiculously good, you know. And I got the second game of the season. You can imagine we won the first game 5-0 playing for Watford. The second game, we last minute winner against Sheffield United. We come home. We was coming home on the coach, and you know, my manager said to me, Ishman Prem, Cray Wanderers just had an injury. They're interested in you. So I said, so he said, "You want to go?" And I can honestly say, I said, I didn't have to have no fault at all. I went, yes. I went, that's it. I want to get out. I said, he went, it's Ishman Prem. He said, it's one below conference. I said, I don't care. And, you know, the amount of times the boys were laughing.
Mm.
You know, they'd laugh. They'd go, "What, you're playing Sunday League?" You know, and still get a plan for Billericay. You know, I don't think some people understand the actual standard of the football that's actually being played.
Yeah.
And I went there, and I had a very successful loan. You know, I when my loan ended, a couple of the Ishman Prem teams like up the top at the time wanted me, and I sort of said, "No, I don't want to go in that league. I want to go back to Watford 23s. You know, have a train." And I was training with the first team for about a week or two, and it was just everything was high flying. Then after that, on the 31st, I got a call from my manager again. "Listen, Billericay want ya. Gifton's the manager, like the assistant." So I knew straight away, you know, Gifton's the man. You know, he's pucker fella. You know, as is Jamie. You know, but you know, with Gifton, we done a coaching badges and we just clicked. You know,
it was the same with me. Me and Gifton had literally the exact same thing.
We just clicked, and ever since then, I felt like so far I've had a successful loan, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the season doesn't end, because I loved playing for Billericay. You know, it was pucker. You know, the fans, even the little tweets after the game. You know, frustrating, and they were like, "No, carry on, mate." You know, even after the games, like you're hearing them shout your name. And I know it's only a crowd of 200 people or at an away game and 800 at an home game, but it's still the buzz, and you think, do you know what? Imagine 30,000 fans singing your name. Imagine now 100,000 fans singing your name. It all spurs you on to want to be.
And that's. I think you've hit a nail on the head there, because for someone like you who's in a pro game, and obviously you're in an environment where you've got these big hitters, the Troy Deeneys of the world. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You've got these guys at your disposal. They're there, and then you come down to a level like Billericay, which is a great level. For someone like me, I'm coming up from kids football at grassroots into Billericay, and for me, 800 fans is like, whoa. And then when you say that 800 fans for you is even special.
Oh, you can't, when a goal goes in, when we scored that last minute winner against Braintree, I've never heard noise like it, and that's all part of the football. I'd rather be playing at 3:00 on a Saturday, than playing on a Monday in front of no one for the 23s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the experience of men's football probably was the lure for you, right?
Oh, you probably ask the fans and that. That's my game. I love it. I love a tackle.
Yeah.
I love spurring the fans up. I love celebrating with the fans. All my emotions and everything, come out onto the pitch. So I'd say, as soon as that opportunity come up, I was snapping it up like there was no tomorrow. Yeah,
and I think, like I said right at the beginning, one of my favorite professionals, the fact that you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you became a fan's favorite instantly. And I remember that one pitch, I think where we were away, and you're walking through the crowd, and it's just a quality picture,
Yeah.
You've even for someone like me who's come in as a coach there, and yes, on one side I'm like in this awe of all these professionals around me. So young professionals like yourself, the older professionals as well, including the management team. Gifton and Jamie have had fantastic careers, and then there's just me, just a nobody really. And to take that on, I see it as learning from you guys. When I have people like you in a changing room and on a match day and around it, and I see you and I see the passion in you, I think it spurs me on as a coach as well. It spurs me on to be like, I need to be better. I need to be on top of my game. I need to deliver, because I know if I don't deliver, you're not gonna let it go, because you, like I said, you wear your heart on your sleeve. And
and you expect things. You expect certain things. You expect your manager. Like Tony wasn't so much of a screaming, shouty coach. He was more of a gentleman, would talk you through it and things like that. But I think that's the environment, like with the changing rooms with the first team, is completely different. As a under 23, if you lose a game 4-5, say you lose a game 3-2, your manager's obviously going to go, unlucky fellas, you deserved it. If you deserved it, or if you was poor, you was really poor. But we can just develop. We can develop you.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll be better next game. But playing with Billericay, when we lost to Wildstone away, I've never seen nothing like it. I've never seen, and that's what I need. I need to feel, when a manager's having a go at you, I need to feel a bit like, fuck, geez, sorry to swear, but I need to feel like, like that's what you need. You don't. I think, of course, you need a bit of guidance and a bit of help, but at the same time, you do need a bit of it. It matters.
Yeah, of course.
If you get 3 points, everyone's buzzing after the game. Everyone's got the music on. But the 23s, is if you lose, everyone's pissed, annoyed for the first, for the first hour or two on the way back, and they might be annoyed for that day.
Yeah.
But then you're all smiling. When you're in a relegation battle and when you're losing, it's completely different. Everyone's down. You're at training, everyone, but it's just the atmosphere, and that's what I love. That's what I love about men's football and under 23s football, really.
And going back a bit, so talking about your career, obviously coming up. So, number 10 striker, then centre half, then holding midfield player, and this is just in academy football, in before you're a scholar. And then you're coming into the men's game, and obviously at Billericay you've played as a left back, as a full back, and also in the back three.
Yeah.
So how important would you say it is for youngsters here now, for youngsters who are watching, or for parents of youngsters who are watching, or even for guys who are trying to make it or break it or make it into the pro game? How important is it to be versatile?
Unbelievable. Like, don't get me wrong, James Milner is an unbelievable player, and I'd love to have half the career he's had, you know, but he's lasted so long because of his versatility. You know, he's played. I think he's played everywhere but goalkeeper. The fella, you know, and if you know, as a manager, someone goes, right, I've got a centre half here. His main position is centre half, but he'd do a proper good job at left back, or he'd do a proper good job at right back, or if you need him in the back three, he'd do a proper good job. It's gonna be more attractive, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you'd rather one player who can play many good than one player that can just play one solid position, and you're more likely to stay in the team, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, you're more likely to stay in the team week in, week out. So say if, I don't know, touch wood, it don't happen, say if Ron Emery got injured and there's no other centre halves, then I'd like to think maybe I might flood into centre half, you know, and just little scenarios like that. I just think being versatile is definitely probably one of my best attributes I have.
I think so too. I think in this short space of a few months, I don't think there was ever a discussion of is Harry playing this week or not. I don't think that discussion has ever occurred. And again, a lot of it comes down to the versatility. You know, you could ask the question when at fullback, will Harry be able to do a job at fullback? And then it was like, well, yeah, you can see it from training because, like you said, you've got a passion about you and you're willing to learn. You're willing to learn a position if you don't know it fully.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important.
You got to do anything, haven't you? I'd say, as long as you've got that number on your back and you're playing week in, week out, I couldn't care whether my manager put me goalkeeper every week. You know, as long as I'm playing at the end of the day. You know,
I think that's massively important for youngsters watching this. I mean, like, take this advice because I think sometimes young players can be quite egotistic in a sense where, I'm a striker and I don't play centre half, you know, and you have someone like yourself who's a pro now and is still with the same attitude. And I think that's what sets you apart is the fact that your attitude is you're so headstrong and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it. And you don't just say it. You don't just say it. You actually back it up when it comes down to it. Because I've seen it I've seen it firsthand. I've seen you play those 3 different positions, like I said. And if it came to it, if Jamie did turn around and ever say, Harry, listen, I need you to hold the midfield role, I don't think you're the type of guy who'll be like, no. And just from small things like set pieces, like where I take the set pieces, I don't know how many different positions I put you in those set pieces, how many different places in the wall I put you in. I think every week I'm like, yeah, Harry can do that. Oh yeah, Harry can do it. When I'm unsure about something, okay, Harry can probably do that. You know? And you just take it on like, yeah, no problem, Rude. I'll carry on. I'll get on with it. No problem. And you never let me down. You understand? So it's like, I think that's one of the best advices, especially coming from, I mean, I'll say it as a coach to these young boys all the time, be versatile, be versatile, be versatile. And I don't think they listen in that sense. But when it comes from someone who's in the pro game, I think they might just take heed to it a little bit and be like, yes, maybe I'm a good central midfield player, but maybe I can do a job at centre half. Maybe I can play out wide. Maybe I can play up front. I don't know, whatever the manager needs from me. But like you said, as long as you got a shirt on your back, why should you be complaining?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah. And that's, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's so many things I want to ask you, and I want to bring you back to like your younger days, obviously, when Millwall, like that, this could have been, if your mum doesn't send you that voice note, how different is your career?
Completely different. I'd probably be, I ain't the cleverest button on the planet, you know. I'd probably be, I don't know. God knows, I'd probably just be like a normal plumber, you know, just playing Sunday league with my mates. You know, and I think that's such a thing you look at and you think, do you know what? That's why I'm with my mum. Whatever my mum wants, and if I can afford it, my mum can have. You know, because if it weren't for her, she was a single mum. Single mum 3 times a week, taking her son to training 3 times a week, plus a match. So 4 times a week, going over to West Ham, going over that Dartford toll. It's a hell of a, and I've even got my uncle Dennis, who as I've got older, has done the exact same thing for me. You know, if if I like when I've been, you know, like in the pre-season, we flew back from Germany. I said, "Den, can you pick me up so I can, you know, spend a little bit more extra time at home?" He said, "Of course, mate." He said, "Don't even have to ask." You know, little things like that is just your people. You realise the people who are important to you. And don't get me wrong, I had loads of mates when I was 13, 14. Hundreds of mates, you know, school captain, everything, school captain, then play for the county and things like that. But you realise who your roommates are now.
Yeah.
You know, because I ain't got many, but things like that don't really bother me. You know,
I mean, it's not a quantity, is it? It's the quality at the end of the
no,
day.
it's the quality of mates. You know,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things I'd say as well. Like sometimes people might like the social life, but if you look at if especially now is a good time because you look at these quarantine things and what these players are doing. If you actually look at the football players' houses,
Yeah.
you're like, well, like if you can't look at that and go, I want to be a Premier League footballer, you've got no chance, not in anything.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah, I'm in awe of your passion for it, to be honest with you. I think because I talk to a lot of people, you know, at the end of the day, I talk to a lot of people, and someone in your position, who's a first year pro, could let it get to their head. And I think you got your feet firmly on the ground here because you ain't seen the end goal yet, and
no.
I can see you're chasing it. But what is that end goal like? Is it just the first team, or does it go beyond that?
Oh, I'd love my life will be in football now. No matter what, even if I go on to play 300, 400, 500 games in League One, I'll be a manager after. You know, I can't live without football. You know, that's just the way I am. You got to live it. You got to breathe it. You got to eat it. You got to watch it. You got to dream. You got to everything. If you want to get there, you got to do everything to help yourself get there. You know, if you've got a party on a Friday night and you've got a game on a Saturday, and your mates go, "Oh, I'll come for a couple of hours." You got to be able to have the bottle to go, "Do you know what? No, you know, no, I ain't doing that. I've got a game tomorrow. You know, leave me, let me be." And if they go, "You're boring," go, "All right then." You know, "All right, I'm boring." You know, because in 10 years to come, when you're playing in the Premier League, when you're driving around Bentleys, when you're living in Chelsea, they're not going to be saying, "Oh yeah," they're going to want to be your mate again, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let me come to your parties. You know, things like that.
Yeah, no, see, you've hit the nail on the head. I think this whole episode so far is just a great big long advertisement on what to do to get there, and what not to do as well. Like, just like the stuff that you said on the social aspect of it and whatnot. When I want to go back to Millwall because obviously you're a Millwall fan. We know that you played for West Ham, which is fine. You did that for yourself and for your career, and that's massively important for you. But when you get that call or text or that face-to-face meeting when they say to you, "No, Harry, you're not having." Obviously, you're an 8-year-old boy at the time. Am I correct?
About 8, 9, yeah.
Yeah, so 8, 9-year-old boy, and this is, I think, it's very important to touch on this because I have a lot of 8, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old boys whose dreams are to be pro at the end of the day. But going back now, if you were to speak to that 8-year-old boy after being rejected, what would you say to him?
It's a tough one because, you know, it was my boy at club, so you can imagine what I was like. I was devastated. I didn't come out my room. Didn't come out my room for 2 weeks. You know, and you dream of playing in them. I had that Millwall shirt on my back, and I played like I was playing for the. You know, I played like I was playing. You know, if I lost, it would hurt, and if I won, I was buzzing. You know, if I won if my Millwall team won, and Mill won at the weekend, that's it. Monday, I'm walking into school like I'm the man. You know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one of them, and it hurt. If it doesn't hurt for you to lose and things like that, then your head's not in it. No matter who it is, no matter if you're playing Ragars Rovers on a Sunday, you know, just starting out as an 8, 9-year-old, or you're playing, I don't know, Man United at bloody Old Trafford. it's got to hurt to lose.
Mm.
And I think that setback was probably one of the best things. As much as it would have killed me, it killed me to not play for my boyhood club. It was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I now know that I can get a setback if I can get a setback from my own club, I can get a setback from any club.
Mm.
That's the way I look at it, and I've been set back, and it's just all about like they say, all them famous quotes. It's not about the setback; it's about how you come back, And it really is. You just got to make sure you just every day just on that field, working in that side.
I always feel like the most important thing after a setback is probably reflection.
Definitely, yeah.
Not dwelling too much onto why the club did what they did, but more what could I have done to not be rejected. I mean, obviously in your case, it was, like you said, it was a case of, you technically weren't there. Did that motivate you to get technically there? Did it help in a sense where you were doing more technical stuff because of that feedback?
Yeah, it was a weird one, because when I was at Millwall, they said I got technically better, and you think, right, technically, obviously, people at Millwall 8 and 9, they are gifted. You look at them, you think, oh, you're a decent player. But when they say technical to you, you think you're an 8-9-year-old kid. My mum was a professional football player, so my mum sort of understood. My mum was a pro, so, but you're thinking, right, technical, but what's he going on about? Is it my passing? Because naturally I'm gifted with both feet. So you couldn't tell whether I'm left or right footed. So I'm thinking, right, it's not that. What could it be? So when I started getting interest from other club, and obviously West Ham knew the story, he said to me, so why did they set you back? They said I weren't technically gifted. And I went, yeah, all right. And they just laughed. And that obviously gave me the confidence to, go on.
And that's again another thing. One man's opinion doesn't define the person.
No.
Because two people looking at you there, from two different clubs. One a Cat 1, I believe it is, in West Ham.
Yeah, Cat 1.
And one a Cat 2, I believe it is, in Millwall. And the Cat 2 said you're not technically good enough, yet the Cat 1 is saying you are technically good enough. So I keep saying, I've said it in so many episodes now, that football is so subjective that you can never argue against it. And each coach has a different opinion. And in your case, because I have a lot, as you probably know, I have a lot of boys who are of the Asian ethnicity. And we always get asked the question, why aren't there enough Asian boys in the game? And I think we've gone around the roundabout so much that we've come up with our own little excuses now, and we've stuck by it. So it's a generalization now. It's a stereotype that exists now. And what people don't understand is no, football is subjective. And where one coach says you're not technically good enough, or you've not got the physical attributes, another coach might actually think, well, no, he's physically decent.
Look at Gnabry.
Exactly.
Tony Pulis says this guy is never making it. Now he's arguably one of the best wingers in the world. I mean, playing for Bayern Munich, arguably one of the greatest teams ever to play football.
Yeah. That's exactly it. So I mean, the whole point is your attitude has to be first and foremost.
That's probably one of the most important things. Yeah, probably the most. You can have all the technical ability. I play with players that are technically unbelievably better than me, like ridiculously better than me, but just didn't have the head. And that's why they're plumbers and electricians now.
Yeah, and I think it's massive. I think people need to come and watch 90 minutes of Harry Hudson. Honestly, if you wanna see what it's like to be a footballer, come watch 90 minutes of Harry Hudson, because it's a roller coaster ride. And I'm lucky enough to have watched you from a dugout perspective, so I can see everything. And obviously, when you play left back and you're close to the touchline and you're close to the dugout, you can hear everything, you can see everything. You're not, even as a 19-year-old boy, you're not a shy boy. You are a leader. You're a leader of men.
Every team I've been in, I've been a skipper. Every team, every team I've been in, every team I've been in a skipper. It doesn't doesn't matter who it is. I'm not, you know, I think one of my mad ones was I was arguing with Ronnie Emery, who's played 500 league games. You know,
Yeah.
who am I to argue with him? But I can't help it. That's the way I am, you know. Not arguing as if it's go, telling him what to do, you know. Telling players, Doug Loftus, who's had an unbelievable career, who had only dream of playing as many league games as them to have played. You know, telling them what to do, and if it's in you, it's in you. You know, I think sometimes if it's in you, like I said, it's in you. If you've got a captain, and you're a captain.
Yeah.
You
don't necessarily need to be wearing the armband.
Yeah, you don't necessarily I don't wear the arm. I certainly don't wear the armband at Billericay, and I certainly haven't worn it as much as I'd like to at Watford. But I've always been one of the loudest. And there's a coach called Paul Heffer, and he said to me, "Listen, mate," he said, "if you can take one bit of advice from me," he said, "always be vocal." And I looked at him, I was 13, and I was like, "Why?" And he went, "Because players make careers out of having a voice." And ever since then, I've just tried to be as loud as I can. Not say out silly things, but just be as loud as I can. And that's got me so far to where I am now, and hopefully I can push on.
I think in terms of that, just adding on that, because I'm a firm believer of that as well, be vocal, but talk with substance, because you don't just need to shout. You don't need to F a blind.
No.
I mean, as long as we have passion in us, and it's like on the touchline, because when I coach youngsters, especially my 14, 15, 16-year-olds, I am quite vocal, I'm quite loud about it. And you do get opposition managers who look at you and be like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't talk to kids like that." And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying anything out of that's wrong in essence. I'm giving my boys but I wear my heart on my sleeve. The reason why I do that is so I have 11 leaders on the pitch, and 11 of them can do the talking. And then hopefully it comes to a point where, well, Gaffer, we don't really need you to talk on the sides because we're doing the talking on the pitch. And when you can create that kind of, because you have to remember, like in my field, I'm creating football players. I'm trying to get them through the ranks. When boys like you come, you already developed football players. So there's so much to learn off you guys, which I can take back onto, which I would never see anywhere else.
There's still so much that I need to learn. You know?
Of course, 100%. I don't think you ever stop learning.
You don't. Even if you're at the top of the game, you're still learning every single day.
Yeah.
Every day, and that's, you know, you need to train every day like it's your last. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be so hard to make it.
And that's no. Look, Harry, it's been brilliant conversation. I think anyone watching this is going to be able to see the passion that you bring to the game, and the ambition that you've got to go forward. And it's true. Like it comes from within, and you can see it. And I've seen it from the first day you walked into the club. You know, like you say, it's not about being extravagant, and it's not about, you know, being flashy, but it's more about, I need to get my work done. I'm here to do a job. Let me do my job. Let me get on with it, and the rest will follow. And to know even that, you know what, you're a pro, but you still take advice from even people like me who ain't had a career or anything like that. That tells me a lot, because that says to me that this is a kid who wants to learn. So he ain't judging you off the book. He's gonna give you a chance to. I mean, if I come in there and talk absolute nonsense to you, I know what you're like. You're gonna be like, "Oh, shut up," just carry on. Do you get me? But as long as what's coming out is substance, then you're gonna take it, and you're gonna learn from it. And I think that's very, very important. I think that's massively important for all players at all levels. That keep your feet on the ground, stay humble what you're doing, and
definitely,
the world's your oyster, as they say. Like,
things will come. Just be patient.
100%. And I know I've asked you what your future ambitions are, but your immediate future, like from now till in about 5 years' time, where do you see yourself?
Well, I know I'm not like you. I believe, and obviously I believe in myself. And players that are playing in the Premier League now that are 17, 18, you know, like the Bukayo Sakas and Billy Gilmours and things like that, like, I don't think people realise how good you actually have to be. So from my perspective, I wouldn't care if I had to go down, you know, if I had to go down to maybe League One, League Two, and work my way back up, because at the end of the day, you know, you look at you can see all the story. You say name hundreds of stories. The Jamie Vardys, the Tyrone Mingses. Look how they come through the ranks. You know, it only takes someone to go, I'll have you, I'll gamble on you, and that's it. So I don't mind going down lower, and I see myself at the minute, if I'm being realistic, maybe going to League 2, League 1, and then hopefully progressing on from there, going to like a team like Brentford or something like that, you know, and then hopefully getting a nick to the Premier League and being a Premier League footballer.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I see that again. This answer is just, you can't make this stuff up because it's from within. And loads of people I would ask that question to in your position would probably turn around and say, "Yeah, 5 years I'm going to be in the Premier League. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to be in the Premier League." But you give such a true and real answer, which is, look, I'm honest about it. I see my ability. I see where I am. I see my opportunities, and that means I got to go League 2 and work my way back up to the Premier League. Then I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be. You're never gonna, you know, Rome weren't built in a day, was it? You know, you think, even if you have one season in the Premier League, you've done bloody well. You know, one season. You know, and I just need to make sure, I just pick the right club. If I go down to League 1, League 2, just work my way up, because I know I can. Yeah. I know I've got the hard work and determination to do it.
That I think personally, I can't wait to watch what your future holds. Honestly, I'm gonna keep a close eye on it. I'm gonna be one of those coaches who stays in touch with you. Definitely. Whether you're back at Billericay or not, I want to see your progress. And like I said with Dinesh the other day, you know, I'm gonna come out as soon as I get the time to do so. I'll come out and watch your games. Hopefully in the first team somewhere with a crowd of 300 or 30, 40,000, and you know, seeing you do exactly what you've been doing all this time, and me just sitting there saying, I know that kid and I know what he's capable of doing, you know. But yeah, no, you've definitely got my support 100%. And I hope you've got a whole new heap of supporters after this podcast, because this is what it's about. It's not about bringing on recognized names, although I don't mind bringing on recognized names to hear their stories, but it's about bringing on those names who are about to break through. And I believe firmly that you're about to break through. I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. It was the opening statement is that is a kid I love. I love the way you train. I love your attitude in training. I love the way you take on responsibilities for whether it be set pieces or whether it be positions that you're playing in. And then I love the way you play. You know, you are traditionally left-footed, but like you said, you're more than capable with both feet. You're good in the air. You're strong. You're not afraid. You know, you've got the tools that are going for you, and you've got everything there. I think it's just about keeping the same attitude. I don't think you should change anything that you're doing. Keep the same attitude. Keep learning, and you know what? We're going to see a very, very bright future in you. And
fingers crossed.
Yeah, 100%. I've got no doubts. You know, touch wood, you don't get injured, nothing like that. But you stay fit, you stay strong, you stay healthy, and you're going to have a very good career in this game. And maybe in 10, 15 years' time, when you take on a manager's post and you're looking for a coach, they can give me a shout.
For sure, definitely. Yeah, cool.
Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before you go, I have to ask, because I do it all the time. Your team, you're the manager. You say you got ambitions to be manager. You can only pick one of them, Ronaldo or Messi.
It'll have to be Messi.
Oh, he's good for the technically gifted. I thought you'd go for the hard work.
I know, because I see your shirt in the background, but yeah, he's got Messi for me. You know, it's got to be Messi for me.
That's fair. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But just the same way I like Harry Hudson, it's the same reason I like Cristiano Ronaldo. I just think he works his socks off to get to where he is.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, H. Guys, you know I'm going to be putting his socials down there. Make sure you give him a follow. Follow his progress. Follow his career. You know, we don't always need to follow the Ronaldos and the Messis of the world. Follow these local boys. Follow these young lads who are doing good things. They're working hard. Perfect attitude. And not a bad word to say about the kid. H, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem whatsoever. You can come on anytime you wish. If it's a subject matter you want to discuss, you know, we can just talk about it, you know. In depth, you know, we could talk about stuff like how important it is to be versatile, how important the difference between non-league football and pro football and stuff like that. And you've got the experience to do so. So pleasure again. Guys, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you again in a couple of days' time for another episode. Thank you again, Harry.
Cheers.